Well, hello there, beautiful people. It's your man Juangotti. I'm back home. I first want to start by saying this video has nothing to do with Juan Gotti or Juan Gotti Talking Sports. This video has everything to do with Dewan and or Training Pringle, as what I was called for the last 3 months. This video, I'm going to be talking about my personal life, me as a person, the personal battles that I have dealt with, me versus me in a sense, and just talking about my personal life, everything. So if it sounds like I'm rambling, I'm sorry, but that's the kind of video it's about to be. It can get long, and if you guys don't want to stick around for it, I totally understand. Just know Juan is back, but before I proceed to talking about football, I gotta let you guys know what's been going on and let you guys know what's up with me, Dewan, the person, not Juan, Dewan. All right. So as you guys know, in January I decided to enlist into the United States Army. I left, went to Fort Jackson, but before I even left, I was not sure if this is what I wanted to do. In fact, my gut was telling me not to do this. I talked to my brother, who was a sergeant first class in the Army when he got out, and he kept it real with me. He was like, listening to how you talk, if you're not sure if this is what you want to do and you're kind of worried, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't go this route. And I was so fixated on wanting to make my parents proud, wanting to make you guys proud, that I kind of ignored my own feeling. Like I ignored my own gut. And up until the last day, January 16th, that morning, I had to make a decision. Am I going to bail or am I going to go? And I was like, you know what? Let's do it for them. Let's do it for them. So I left. I shipped out to Fort Jackson. And once I got there to the reception battalion 120, I thought those feelings were going to subside, and I thought it was going to eventually go away, but it only worsened because now I'm officially in the army, in the army environment, and I no longer have my YouTube channel. I no longer am a Juan Gotti Talking Sports. I am now at the bottom of the barrel. I am now Training Pringle. Um, and I was feeling kind of out of it. I felt like I didn't belong. I felt like what was my purpose here? Because a lot of people around me have strong whys. Oh, I need to do this. I need to do this for my family. This is the only thing I have. And for me, it was never that. It was never that. I never knew why I did it. I just did it. And that comes from me always comparing myself to people, me always feeling like I'm not enough, even with my own YouTube platform. I felt like what I was doing wasn't enough because I see people on social media, I see people my age in college, in the military, looking like they're living their best life. And I'm like, I'm just stuck here and I'm not making no progress in life. And that's where I went wrong because everyone's life path is different, and my life path was exactly what I wanted it to be, but I was so blind to the success that I created for myself because I'm always feeling like I wasn't enough. Self-confidence is something that Dewan has always struggled with, not feeling like he's not enough. No, always feeling like I don't look the best, or I can't get this girl, or no girls like me, or I can't get in this specific, I can't make these specific friends. You know what I'm saying? My eye, obviously, is something that I've always got bullied about all my life, right? So self-confidence is something that I've always struggled with, and that affected my work. That affected my YouTube channel because my YouTube channel was something that was good for me, something that I built, that I worked hard for, that I was getting good money from. But for whatever reason, even when I uploaded these videos, even when I was in front of that camera, once that camera went off, I felt dark. I felt like I was nothing because as soon as that cameras went off, I would get on social media and I would scroll for hours, see people in the military, see people in the college, see people doing this thing, and I'm like, bro, I'm still in my parents' house at the age of 20, and I'm not doing nothing with my life. That's how I would feel. That's how I would feel. And I'm like, oh, the only way that I can get a house, the only way that I can get a car, I need to join the military. The military for me, it was like an escape, like that was the only route I can get to achieve these goals. But after being there and being in that environment and being around people that genuinely had no other option, it made me feel like you took this for granted. You took this for granted. You did this yourself. You did this yourself. What are you here for? What are you here for? Because we were in the Bay, we would be talking, people would be explaining their life stories. And I would be telling them, yeah, man, prior to me coming, I was a YouTuber. I was my own boss in a sense. I had my own photography business. And they were so blown away, and they were like, why are you here? What are you doing here? You know, and every time I would look in the mirror, bald headed, cold, you know, I'm like, Juan, why did you really do this? And I had to come to grips with the realization that I did this because I want to impress other people. I wanted to do this so I come back home and people see me in the army uniform and they're like, "Oh snap! Look at Dewan. Oh, okay, Dewan. Maybe I need to come mess with you now. Maybe the certain group that you want to hang out with, or you say you have no friends. Maybe they would accept you now because you're in the army. You know, maybe that one girl that you like, or them girls that never show interest in you. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they will like you because you're in the army." And that is the wrong mindset. But again, that's how I was thinking. I was doing it because I wanted to make my family proud. I did it because I wanted to make you guys proud. But you know, the one thing that my family told me, my parents told me, and you guys even said, it's like, you don't have to do this to make us proud. You don't owe us anything. You're not letting anyone down if you decide not to continue. You tried it, it didn't go your way. Oh well, right? But for me, I had to understand and learn the hard way that one, patience is a virtue, right? Patience with your YouTube channel is something that I had to have, and that once I lost those patience, that's when I felt like I needed to do something. When a video didn't do so well, I would feel like, oh, I'm crap. Oh, nobody's liking me anymore. Oh, I'm lost at life, and what am I gonna do? But it's like, one, not every video is gonna do that good. Not every video is going to be your best video, right? I was having so much more fun with YouTube when I was still just starting out, when I was grinding, right? But once you get comfortable, and that's what happened with me. I got comfortable and I tried to hold myself to this certain standard that when I don't meet that certain standard, I'm down on myself. I beat myself up a lot, honestly. I'm hard on myself, and it's almost unfair to me. It's almost unfair to myself that I try to hold myself to this absurd standard in life that is almost impossible to reach. Because I'm 20, I feel that, oh, I need my own house right now. Why am I not in my own house right now? Why don't I have this kind of car right now? Why is my YouTube channel not having this kind of success right now? You know, it was a humbling experience that I just went through, in the sense of like, you needed this to really understand that you were fine. You were fine. You know what I'm saying? You didn't need the army. And this isn't to say the army's bad. It's more so about the route, the timing of me enlisting into the army. It's not to say in 4 years from now the army wouldn't have been good for you. But right now, at 20 years old, for the lifestyle that you had, you were your own business. You had your own business making good money. You know, you were doing your thing, but you got so, and I'm talking about myself obviously, but you got so sidetracked with looking at what other people have going for their lives on social media, that you felt like you were a loser, that you were nothing. Oh, you don't have this girl in your life, or you don't have these friends in your life. Oh, Juan, you're nothing, man. You just sit around all day not making no progress in life, which is totally false. Because when you turn on that YouTube page, you got people that loved you, that loved you. And for me, it was like I loved what I did on YouTube, but again, I'm so hard on myself that once that camera went off, it's like, what purpose do I have now? So for me, it was like the only escape that changed my life was the army. But my life was already good. You know what I'm saying? And I had to get in the mindset of you can't care what other people think. All my life I've struggled with that. You know what I'm saying? You can't care what people think. So what? Who cares that them people keep talking about your eye? They talk so much about your eye, that means that they really have insecurities with their self. You know what I'm saying? Something that you were born with that you can't control. They're so worried about trying to pick on you for that. You know what I'm saying? That means that they really don't love themselves. You know, that has been a big problem with me, is that I don't know how to love myself. I never understood what is it that Dewan loves, what is it that he wants to do, what is it that he wants to get out of life, you know, because I'm always trying to compare myself. I'm always trying to look for the baddest girl, or I'm always trying to look for girls, you know what I'm saying, instead of just letting things come to me. And again, this is just the real, and it's almost as if like it's crazy that I'm even going to be putting this out, but I'm talking to y'all because this is like how this was my thought process and what I had to change over the 3 months of my life. Like, I can't continue to try to live life for other people, and this is coming from my drill song, one of the hardest drill songs there. He straight up told me, says you cannot continue to keep living your life for other people, or you're never going to be happy. That's just the truth of the matter, right? So before we even get into the military part of what's going on, that's just me. That's the real me. Like, I love what I built on YouTube. And that was my career path. I had a perfect plan set out for myself. But me being impatient, me thinking that I wasn't making no progress with life, me thinking because I'm still with my parents at the age of 19, 20, I'm lost. But in reality, they would tell you, the smartest people would tell you, live with your parents as long as you can until you have to get out. In a sense, and of course, I don't mean 25, 30 live with them, but age 20, there's very few people without the military, without college, that are living on their own. And again, that was my processes. I gotta go to the army to get my own. I gotta go to the army to do that. That's the only way I'm gonna get my college degree. That's the only way. Like, and it's like, nah, dog. That's not the only way. That may be the escape that you feel like you need, but you don't really need that. Then that's just the truth of the matter. Like, for me, I've always had them personal battles, and I felt like going to the army was going to cure those battles, but it only opened my eye up more to the reason as to, like, why did you even do this? You didn't need to do this. Okay, now let's move forward to the military part. So again, I didn't take the traditional route. I was always looking for the easy way in the military, and that's my biggest problem. The easy way ain't always the easy way. I tried to go to this '09 Mike program, and it didn't go in my favor. Um, the '09 Mike program, again, is it's like a basic training, but you're there with the ASVAB because you do a lot of the similarity things that they do in basic training. You know, PT, getting smoked, um, you know, bay inspections, having to clean the bay. So much stuff that you do in basic training, you do there. But you have to pass the ASVAB to then go to basic training, and you can be there for up to 3 months before you even go to basic training. Okay? So, even though, again, I'm dealing with all that, I still did it, and I still went to the '09 mic, and I took the test. Okay, and I was in the environment, in the classroom environment, and I struggle with that. I struggle with school all my life. I was never good at school. I never was good at tests. Always had test phobia. Always just was never good when it comes to that kind of stuff. So looking back on it now, it was like me even in trying to enter the military this route was dumb for me. It was not the smartest idea because you're you're leaving your home, your peaceful home, where you can study as long as you want, as long as you need to. to go to a basic training like environment because you're now in the Army. I signed a contract, sworn at MEPS. You're wearing the United States Army uniform. You're doing some United States Army training. And now you're there, also having to pass the ASVAB, and the teachers are good, but they don't go over things long enough. Some teachers are good, I should say, because some teachers there, the trainees knew more than the teachers in some locations. So I put myself in a position where I rushed it. I'm not gonna sit up here and say the Army is just this horrible place because it's not. It's just for me and the reflecting on this whole process is the route that I took to get into the Army was harder than it needed to be. I thought it was gonna be easier, but it was harder, right? Because they tell you the four components of the ASVAB is what's most important: paragraph, comp, word, knowledge, and math knowledge and arithmetic, right? They say that's what's most important, and there they teach you that, but it's so accelerated because you only have 9, 10 class days. They only go over one component of the ASVAB per day as far as math. So if we're doing math, right, they go over adding and subtracting fractions. Then the next day they're going over ratios and proportions. You see, it's accelerated, so you can't really get no time to learn each thing, right? Um, Also, I found out that the other six components are what gives you the kind of job that you want. And there, if you go to this route, they don't teach you about mechanical comprehension. They don't teach you about auto and shop. They don't teach you about general science. And these are things that I don't even know about. I don't know nothing about cars. I don't know nothing about auto and shop. I don't know nothing about assembling objects. So you cope me struggling with the four components, and they don't even really go over that for long enough, and then you don't even know the other six. I did it to myself. I put myself in this hole, and it was just not a good match. So with that being said, I tried my best, and I still took the test, and I failed miserably. I've scored worse there than I did at home, and I felt confident headed into the test. Even with everything I was telling you guys, I felt confident headed into the test, and I flunked it. And another thing, if you go through with this program, you're at the Army needs. So jobs that may be open in the civilian world, you're not going to get there more likely than not. You're most likely, if you're active duty, you're going to get a combat MOS, or you're probably going to get an MOS that you really don't want because you're there for the Army needs. If you're at reserves, National Guard, you're going to have your pickings. But active duty, which I was, I chose that the jobs that you were going to get if you passed most likely were going to be combat. But I still didn't pass, right? So I was down. I didn't know if I should continue, and I was like, you know what? Let me try again. After thinking about should I continue, should I try again, I was like, you know what? I'm here. Let me try again. So I went to the next company, even more harder company. First day we walk over that Joe, we getting smoked for an hour straight. We getting smoked, and it was raining that day too. Getting smoked like crazy. Um, but I still was like iffy on if this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to honestly give up at that point because it's like I struggled with the ASVAB at home. I struggled with the ASVAB there, and I don't even know why I'm here because I don't even know if I really want to be active duty Army soldier, right? So I took the test again though. I went through it, took the test again. I was like, why not give it a shot again? You want to know what happened? I felt even more confident this time. I failed again and I scored the same exact score. So I was like, no way. There has to be a glitch in the system. You're telling me I didn't make not 1 point increase? Not no 1 point increase I didn't make. No, I didn't. Scored the same exact low score. So I'm sitting there lost. I'm sitting there like, bro, is this a sign from God that this isn't for me? I'm here. I came all the way to Fort Jackson to this place that almost guaranteed you that you were going to pass or at least come close, and I'm sitting here scoring worse when I'm actually studying and mastering the words and stuff like that than I did at home when I barely studied. Mind you, I forgot to mention, my first cycle there, they changed the whole ASVAB on us. So the study material that we had was old because none of the stuff was on the ASVAB, right? That was the first thing I forgot to tell you about. In the second cycle, I failed again. So I'm then sitting there. I'm like, all right, dog. What is it that I'm about to do? I'm now at a crossroads. Do I tell him, you know what, I'm gonna try to go back home, or do I take it the last time and get wavered into the army? So it was a hard decision. Nobody was there to help me. I had to make that decision on my own. I put myself in a position where nobody can help you. You're there alone at Fort Jackson. Nobody went through what you're going through right now. So you can't call your mom. You can't call your brother. You can't call your friend. You can't call someone to help you to tell you what to do, what's best for you. You have to do this on your own. And it was truly the hardest decision I had to make because on one hand, I wanted to get through the whole entire thing because I'm like, look how great it would be if I can just show people that I made it through. But on the other hand, it's like, are you really happy? Do you really want to do this? So I had to make a decision. And it's not like they gave me days. It was not like they gave me an hours. I had to make a split decision right there, an impulsive decision right there. And I said, you know what? Close my eyes. And I said, I'm gonna go ahead and go and call it raps. I'm gonna go ahead and go back to what I was doing. I think this is the life lesson that I learned, that I needed to learn. So I started my process on getting out of the army because again, although I was, just getting in, I signed a contract and I had obligations that I had to fulfill. So it wasn't like if I decided to come home, I could just come home. No, I had to wait a minute because again, we were in the army. And the biggest life lesson that I learned was patience. It's not that the army was too hard for me. Nah, it was the route that I took was harder for me personally. Because I know some people that went through this route and was Gucci, aced it. But me personally, the way my life is and the way my brain works, I took the wrong path. I let people talk me into active duty. When in reality, for Dewan, if he was going to join the army or the military, and he only wanted schooling, National Guard was the route to go, right? That should have been what I wanted to do. But I let them talk me into active duty. And not only that, again, like I told you guys, at the program, you're at the hands of the Army needs. So active duty soldiers aren't getting the good jobs that National Guard or reservists are getting. Okay? So it definitely was a hard decision because you have your friends that you make, your battle buddies that you make. They tell you, oh no, keep going, man, keep going. You know what I'm saying? Don't give up, don't give up. And these guys that I became cool with, they also failed, but they took the waiver. Now they're in basic training. And I had to swallow that pill. I had to. You know what I'm saying? I try not to regret anything in life. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no point to regret. But it was hard because I didn't come home right away. I was still at Fort Jackson. I still had to do military things. And when you're there, you occasionally walk into a BCT. And my very first cycle that I was with, they end up seeing me. And they're like, yo, Pringle, what's up, man? We're almost done with BCT. And it's like, damn, what happened if I would have passed? Or what happened if I would have just stayed, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie to y'all boys. Yeah, I made a decision to come back home and reset. But while I was there, it was tough because you're around nothing but military stuff, and you're there. At least me was questioning: did I make the right decision for me? Did I really just do the right decision, or should I have taken a waiver? And how the waiver goes, I was never really properly explained how it went. All I kind of heard was that the waiver, you get wavered in if you don't pass, but they just give you a job that is available or what's left. That's kind of what I was explained to, or at least heard. That's how it worked, right? My line scores were horrible. I don't even know if they were good enough to get wavered in, to be honest with you. Um, so while I was there waiting to be out processed, um, I often questioned myself. I often got in almost a depressed like state. wondering if if this was the right decision for me, because I see people so much, moving on. I see people looking like they're making progress, right? I see sergeants, command sergeant major, stuff like that, walking around, and it's like, dang, look at them. But again, it all ties back into, I can't compare myself to them. No decision you make is a wrong decision. Everything is a life lesson. Everything is a learning experience, and God doesn't make mistakes. God already has our lives written out for us. So this is just all a part of the plan. Maybe you had the right idea, just the wrong timing, right? Maybe the army 3 years, 4 years from now would have been good for me. But right now, I was in the peak of my internet career, in the sense of what I love to do, and the views and stuff like that, and the support that you were so blind to what you had, your photography business. You were your own boss. You didn't work for nobody. Dewan didn't work for nobody. Dewan was making his own money. But it just didn't feel like enough, because you so worried about what they had going on with their life over there, and they look like they're living their good life, and you were so focused on that you weren't focused on yourself, or you feel like you're not attractive or handsome because you don't have this certain girl, or you feel like no girl wants you, or you feel like no friend groups want you. Like, again, guys, this video is raw. This video is real. This is my thought process. This is how I was feeling. I was lost. I didn't know why I joined the army. I just did it. I just did it, right? And I being there, being away from what I love doing most, kind of just made me realize, like, again, you cannot take that for granted. You had your career path planned out for you, and you single-handedly ruined that because of your own self-confidence or lack thereof. The future I want to take away from this experience, to be more patient, be more, be more, be more. Uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Be more, observant of what you're getting yourself into. Again, if I could do it all over again, would I join the army? Potentially. I'm not going to say nothing's off the table. If I could do this all over again, I would probably have waited till I was 22, 23, or waited till I felt like I needed to join the army. Um, and do National Guard or reserves to at least see if this is what you would like to do. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just going full fledged into active duty, being away from your YouTube, being away from your family and stuff like that, not knowing if that's what you were ready to commit to. But again, it's all a life lesson. It's all a learning experience for everything. It's hard for me at times to not to think about the regret of my decision, because again, you see people that you went through with almost graduating or they're at BCT, but it's like, Juan, you can't think about that. You have your own life to worry about. You have your own decisions to make. A lot of those people that are doing that don't have this. They didn't have what you built. They didn't have the success or the money that you were making from this, right? Because I feel like, you didn't think, I didn't know the kind of power that I had, in a sense, because I'm too humble. I'm not afraid to admit that. I'm too humble with this. I'm too nice with the platform that I built. You know what I'm saying? That's probably why I was in the situation that I was in, because I treated my channel almost like, oh, this ain't nothing. 6,000 subscribers, that ain't nothing. Anybody can do that. But no, not anybody can do that, because everybody would do it. I was too humble. I treated the channel like it was just a old regular thing. When it's like, nah, Juan, you were something. You were something. You had people wanting to know your opinion on our favorite football team. But I never saw it like that, because I was too worried about other people's lives. I was too fixated on not thinking I was enough. Am I good enough? Am I doing enough at the age of 20? When it's like, one, you are. You're only 20, dog. You're only 20. Be patient. Take life slow, every day at a time. Now, what is the future plans for this channel? I plan on now, after being the experience that I had, I plan on getting back to the channel, but I can no longer be regular. I can no longer just sit here and talk about the Commanders. I gotta get out. I gotta do things. I have to expand my channel, because if I want to make this a true career, I gotta do more. I gotta do more. So I'm more hungry than ever. I'm more ready than ever. I want this. Something that I worked so hard to build, that I personally single-handedly ruined because of the decision that I made. You know, but I'm ready. I'm ready to get back to it. You know, I love each and every one of y'all. That was never in question. You know, and as this drill sergeant tried to tell me, you know, once they realized I wasn't, you know, continuing with the Army, they said, you know, don't feel like you let anyone down. Don't feel like just because you decide not to continue with the Army that you are not good enough, because you did something that someone was afraid to do. You know what I'm saying? You actually took the attempt at getting in the Army and trying the Army, right? You signed that contract. You actually got in the Army. You actually went to Fort Jackson. You tried it, right? You did something that 1% of the Army, you did something that 1% of Americans do. So yeah, of course, you didn't end up having a 20-year career. You didn't end up having you know, becoming an officer or a staff. So you didn't end up becoming that, but you tried it. You were there. So don't ever feel disappointed in yourself. And they said, hey, look, if you want to come back, you can. That's the biggest thing for me. It's like, it's not the end of the world. That's what I had to realize. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, of course, it sucked because you missed out 3 months of content. My channel would have probably been almost at 10,000 subscribers right now if I didn't go anywhere, of course, right? But it's the life lesson that you have to learn. Everyone has their life lesson. Everyone has that one thing that they say, you know what? I get it. I get it. All my life, you know, I've tried to be something more than what I needed to be because of the environment that I put myself into, or the social media thing. You know, social media is a killer. And now that I'm back home and back into society, I want to genuinely try to not be on it so much, because if it's not about business, if it's not about my YouTube channel, I don't need to be on it, because that is a big reason as to why I felt like I needed to join the Army, right? It was tough. And this video, honestly, can be an hour long, because it's so much that I have to talk about when it comes to my personal life. But it it definitely was an experience that I needed. I needed, because I needed to understand what I truly lost, what I left behind, and I needed that because I need to find myself. I need to love Dewan Pringle. I need to love Trainee Pringle. That's the only person that I need to worry about. That's the only person that are in these shoes. So don't let no one ever make you feel like you're less of something because you didn't do what they did, or you're not doing what they're doing. Everyone's life path is different. So I'm still not quite there yet with loving myself, with figuring out what it is that I want to do in life. So I need to do that. I need to figure that out with myself. Back at square one, figuring it out. But one thing that I know I want to do and I want to get back to is this. I want to do what it is that I truly love to do. I want YouTube to be my life. I want talking about sports to carry me so far that I'm end up able to buy my own place. I'm able to get the car, a nice car. You know what I'm saying? It definitely is what I want to do. I know that for sure. But again, this is a life experience. I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. I hope you guys, you know, still love Juan Gotti for his content and for him, even though, you know what I'm saying, you may not understand where I'm coming from. This is the real. This is honestly the realest that it's going to be and that I'm ever going to get. I'm not perfect. Um, Clearly, I make mistakes. I make decisions that I often don't know if it's the right decision. Again, as you can see, I'm always, not secure with myself because I'm always focused on other things instead of me. But that's just the real. But even with that being said, I just want to say I'm back. Um, I want to take this channel as far as it can get. I want to be my 10K has always been my big goal, and I know one day I am going to be able to reach this goal. But I wanted you guys to be patient with me, and I need to be patient with myself first and foremost. But patient with me within the sense of getting back in the swing of things. I haven't done this for 3 months, so I need to get back. I need to catch up on our Washington Commanders. But again, in all seriousness, I love y'all, man. I really do. And I'm grateful for you guys. I'm grateful for the Army experience that I did have. Again, it wasn't as long as I thought it was going to be, or it wasn't as long as my brothers, right? But again, it doesn't matter because, again, everyone is different. Everyone is different because the same people that can judge you for not going all the way through are the same people that are afraid to even go as far as you. So I just want to say I'm back, and Dewan needs to find out how to love Dewan. Dewan needs to find out what is it that Dewan wants. Dewan needs to find out patience. Dewan needs to learn that you're 20. Dewan, you don't need to have this big house or this house right now. It's gonna come. First and foremost, you just gotta stay down with something. But that's the real. That's the one. Trainee Pringle. But with that being said, it's time for Juangotti to take over. So I'm gonna leave y'all with this. So as a rap legend once quoted, allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Hov, H to the OV. But in this case, allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Juangotti, and I'm back on your screen talking about yours and my favorite football team. The king is back, and I'm coming for my throne. Ain't nobody getting in the way of that, because I'm back where I belong.